Hey, what's up everyone? This is Silver Slayer. Thank you for tuning into this video. Silver has many positive things going for it, but what are some of the negative things that could affect silver prices? That's what we're going to be talking about in this video, because yes, silver has a lot of potential. It can be extremely bullish with a lot of potential on the upside, and markets show that, especially when low supply high demand can shoot the price up, whether it's a silver shortage, whatever the case is. But today we're going to be looking at the other side of the fence. Now, the first thing that comes to mind when I think of what can affect silver prices are two things, and it's stock markets rallying, which means people take their money out of gold and silver and put it into the stock markets because it's more profitable, or the dollar index. Usually when the dollar index is higher, gold and silver's lower, and when gold and silver's lower, the dollar index is higher. Same with stock markets. When stock markets are more volatile, you know, gold and silver tend to do better, but when stock markets are rallying, when they're profitable, gold and silver doesn't tend to do as good. So when we're looking at it from that perspective, it's very easy to determine, what can make silver prices appreciate or depreciate. So before we get too deep in this video, I want to make sure you guys get a chance to like the video. So let's take 5 seconds real quick just to smash that like button, support the channel. It's the best way to support me. It's definitely going to help get the video shared. So just real quick, that's all I wanted to say. I appreciate it. So anyways, let's get back to the meat and potatoes of this. So what drives silver's main price, right? What really affects the price of silver? And I can ask this open-endedly, right? Is it stock market volatility? Is it the dollar index? Is it market manipulation? Is it surplus supply and demand? Is it simply just buying and selling, the volume in between that? What is it? See, there's many different variables, and all of these variables have a little bit to do with it. And that's why I hate when people try to narrow down to one specific category or one specific situation on what silver is, or what silver can do, or where silver is headed, because there's many different things that influence silver's price, right? It's not just manipulation. It's not just supply and demand. It's not just stock markets. It's not just the dollar index. It's not It's not just the FOMC cutting interest rates, right? There's many different things. We had the Hong Kong protests. We had the Federal Reserve cutting interest rates. We had the U.S.-China trade negotiations. We have, this pandemic on our hands. And all of them affect prices to different degrees. We can talk about the different degrees there is, because I definitely think that some are more impactful than others. Now, there's no way to tell who's right and who's wrong, and it's not about who's right and who's wrong. It's mainly from a perspective or a opinionated standpoint. But right, the pandemic definitely threw things in a tailwind, and I don't think that silver got the best end of the stick. It got the short end of the stick, definitely, right? Gold got the upper hand in this situation, because gold is more of a safe haven metal. Gold is more of a preservation of your wealth, as some would say. And when in times of economic turmoil, when there's thousands and thousands of people dying, right? When stimulus packages are going out and we're going into a recession/depression, gold is the answer. Silver is a much smaller market, so silver doesn't get the same benefits, doesn't get the same rewards that gold does. But why is that? Silver should be, it could be, it has been before, but right now we're just not seeing the same results. A lot of people, I think, sold their silver for gold because they saw the price of gold hitting these multi-year highs, but silver hitting multi-year lows. And the gold to silver ratio shows that. It's proven. It's a given fact. Look at the gold to silver ratio, still sitting well above 100, meaning that gold has outperformed silver. Now, why is this? We can talk a little bit about this too. And it has to do about gold's safe haven demand or gold's safe haven value that silver just doesn't have during these times. And it came full circle. It definitely came full circle. At first, it was boosting prices, but then people actually wanted a cash grab because times got so severe that they actually ended up selling their silver and gold, which then in return hurt prices. So at first we saw an uprise and then we saw a downfall. And now we're just waiting for the uprise again. And trust me, it will happen. It definitely will happen. Markets don't plummet forever. They go up and they go down. Markets drop and they rise, and that's healthy, right? We don't want a market to just keep going upwards. That's a huge red flag indicator that there's going to be a huge crash. So we almost want prices to fall sometimes. It's called sell-offs. It's called dips. So anyways, there's another angle we can look at this, and silver's other worst enemy is the higher ups, the governments, the feds. And this is because they blatantly put position in silver to make it seem not profitable. And they don't want you to invest in silver. It's a direct threat to the US dollar. It's a direct threat to fiat currency. And if you have these people saying don't buy silver, silver's a bad investment, people are going to believe them because they have power, they have control. They can control the economy, and they do control the economy. And that's also why they don't want you to invest into silver, is because investing in precious metals is going against the grain, because the dollar is based off of faith and hope. And if people start to trade that faith-based dollar into gold and silver, then they, in return, are at risk, and they don't want to be at risk, right? So you can see how JP Morgan can call Bitcoin a scam and then in return go buy millions of dollars in Bitcoin, right? And you can see how the governments can say don't buy gold and silver, it's a bad investment. They're not going to talk about how silver was $50 though. They won't share that part. They're going to talk about the bear parts of it because they want people to see silver as in a negative light. And that's why a lot of people come into the world of precious metals so sketched out. And they've already had a stereotype pegged to it. And that's why I try to break the stereotype and share the reality behind the scenes, the reality that gold and silver has, the true potential they have. I'm going to talk about $50 silver in 2011 because that wasn't even 10 years ago and we saw prices that high, right? I'm going to share the good, the bad, and the ugly. And that's the reality. Sometimes silver isn't profitable. Sometimes it's better to hold off and wait for the markets to blow over. So anyways, just to recap a little bit, silver definitely has many strings attached to it, whether it's supply and demand, whether it's the dollar index, whether it's stock markets, whether it's the FOMC cutting interest rates, whether it's the Hong Kong protests, whether it's the U.S.-China trade negotiations, whether it's this virus pandemic going on, whether it's the 2020 presidential election. There's so many different things that affect silver's price, and you can see that it's usually what's happening in the economy and then what correlates down to the chart analytical standpoint, which I try to share the chart standpoint a lot as well on my channel. I try to share both of those because both of those combined can give you an extremely close price forecast of where silver prices are headed. If things in the economy are good and the chart's showing that it's in an angle to have a bull run, it most likely is. Things are looking bad and the chart's looking like we might be holding off and seeing lower prices, then I'm going to share that part with you. I'm going to talk about why silver prices are going to stay lower, and I'm going to talk about why silver prices might go higher. There is no crystal ball. We can never be sure, but more than 9 times out of 10 the charts are pretty accurate. And that's the best way to invest, is to compare what's happening in the economy and compare that or correlate that to the chart standpoint. So anyways, I hope you enjoy this video. I hope you now know what silver's worst enemy is, which is what's happening in the economy, which can go against it, and also the higher ups, the governments, the people that don't want you to invest into it. So anyways, if you did enjoy this video, if you thought this video was educational, informational, or just entertaining, please make sure to smash the like button. It definitely helps out a lot. Let's see if this video can get 150 likes. I definitely think it can. If everyone took time just to like the video real quick, we would reach that goal within a couple minutes. So hopefully you guys will follow through, especially if you stuck around this long into the video. I definitely appreciate the heck out of you, and I hope you have a wonderful day. Anyways, I'm going to wrap this video up here. This was Silver Slayer. Thank you so much for tuning in. I'm out. Peace.